Did you ever play Captain Bible?
No, we didn't have any computers. I don't remember having computers, so I don't think so. Captain Bible.
Captain Bible. It was yeah.
Was it like a side scroller?
Is that it?
Yes. The top one, yeah, that's it right there.
Wow.
Jump in there.
So it's another Doom clone.
No, it's not a Doom
it's not.
clone.
What the
Is it a
heck?
Prince of Persia clone? What is this?
So it's
point
kind
and
of
click.
a point and click.
Oh, okay, that's just
So you went around.
Oh, look at the
yeah,
top
look-
right. Look at the top right. That save button.
Yeah.
The save disc.
But the whole thing was that you had to go around and read Bible verses, and then you'd be asked questions, and you had to answer them. And
But one of the funniest things about the Bible games is a lot of the Bible games were illegal reskins of other games.
Yes.
That's a sin.
Yes.
YUNKJunk!
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tubby Talk, where we talk Tubby Robot Ice Cream Factory and video games. Wait, that's not how we normally start this. But anyway, I'm Steve,
And I'm Chris.
and we're here to talk about free games. Something we do have at Tubby Robot Ice Cream Factory.
That's true for now. Ha ha ha. Well, yeah, I just brought this up because I remember very vividly being a kid and not having access to games, and you just want more games as a kid.
Yeah, you'd play the one game, maybe if you got like this Nintendo that came with like the double cartridge, maybe the triple cartridge if you were real fancy.
Mm-hmm.
You got to play 3 games.
Yeah.
Sometimes you had to play 2 because you lost a power pad or never had a power pad.
And if you're lucky, like you're waiting until Christmas, you're waiting until your birthday.
You
If
get
you're
one
lucky,
more game.
you get one more game.
But
Yeah.
we have siblings, so maybe you get 2 games because you each get one.
But there were other ways, darker ways, or more promotional ways.
Yeah, you used to get games from cereal boxes,
Mm-hmm.
which I guess the stuff still come in cereal boxes.
I don't think anything comes in a cereal box at all now. I think maybe that nothing's come in a cereal box for 25 years.
I know at one point it transitioned to UPCs,
Yeah.
where you'd be like, oh, scan the code or collect enough box tops and send it away and get a disc.
That was
Still
the
the
worst.
same.
Because it was like, oh, collect 50 box tops, and then like you got to send shipping and handling.
To Jamaica, New York.
Jamaica, New York.
Jamaica
Grand
Plains or
Rapids,
something.
Michigan.
Or yeah.
Yeah.
Always these weird places nobody ever heard of unless you're from those places.
Yeah.
I remember getting if it was 1 or 2 3.5-inch floppies of Chex Quest.
Yeah.
I didn't have a computer at the time, but I was like, I can play Chex Quest if I find a disk drive
Yeah. And a computer.
and I have permission to install this game.
Yeah, Chex Quest sounded awesome. So
Yeah.
you never actually got to play it.
No. Did you ever play it?
I played it much, much later. So that game became a cult classic that people embrace, and it's a mod of Doom, but branded to Chex cereal.
Yeah. I know there's a remake that was made recently.
Yeah.
Or like a remaster or something like that. But it still has the same gameplay. It's just I think you can select 4 different characters now. But yeah, Dylan, it's
There you go.
yeah, that one. It was super promotional. You shot like the weird lasers and you turned aliens into like goop, but you were like a Chex man.
Yeah, and you're killing the goop, and yeah, I didn't know that. Look at that. Your
Spoon.
melee's a spoon. That's great. So yeah, and you can see your face at the bottom is a Chex face man with
Yeah.
eyeballs poking out, which is hilarious. See, like if you've played Doom, that's exactly the gesture that Doom guy does.
He just looks around at the direction vaguely that you're walking in.
But it's one of the cool things about like Doom is timeless in its gameplay. It's fun no matter what. So you can slap whatever you want on the texture and Chex Quest. Like Chex in the bottom right at all times, just to let you know this is a trademark.
Hey, they didn't give it to you for free for nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, there were streamers back then. That was just so you would know. Person playing the game, Chex gave this to you.
Well, this is a really cool promotion though. Like if somebody was like, hey, this is going to be a commercial, but you get to play a first-person shooter.
You run out and you buy a box of Chex so you get to play the game.
Absolutely.
It at least guarantees 2 sales per like average kid of like, hey, go buy the cereal to play this game. You might know 2 people that have a computer that can run the game.
Oh, I'm sure so they still sell Chex today. And I'm sure one of the reasons it's still around is because this game. Like kids bought this and then they're like, you know what? I remember Chex Quest. Let me get a box of that good stuff.
And then they eat that nasty crosshatch cereal.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like Cinnamon Life without the sugar and cinnamon.
It's like eating little what's this called? Triscuits.
It's Triscuits.
It's Triscuits the cereal. And Triscuits is the worst type of cracker.
Oh, you just really unsold it to me.
I mean, I don't care how hot of a take that is. Triscuits are terrible. You should be ashamed of yourself, Nabisco.
All right. How do you feel about shredded wheat? Because isn't that similar?
It's not quite the same.
Okay.
It's like if you took shredded wheat and you cross-hatched it, you knit it into a sweater of dryness.
Yeah, it sounds. The more you talk about it, the more I'm just like imagining like a desiccated scarecrow twisting in the wind.
You ever step on like some hay and it crinkles under your foot? Imagine eating that.
Chex.
That's Chex Mix.
But the game was fun.
The game looks great. I got to find the copy to remaster and try to play. I'm pretty sure it's on Steam.
And
I need to check that out.
It does speak to like the lasting legacy that this promotional title left, that people grew up with it and then wanted to remake it.
It was definitely somebody who played this, who got this from a cereal box or from their friend's cereal box and was like, I want to make this for the modern era.
Now, what I got to figure out the lore of this game, because you're killing lots of green gloopy dudes, right?
Well, the remake has like a cinematic intro and everything.
Oh.
Well, cinematic. It's an animatic intro.
Yeah.
But yeah, apparently aliens invaded and they send like the Chex Crusaders to defeat the alien invasion.
Because they could look kinda to me like green soggies. And if you remember the lore of Captain Crunch.
Yeah, the soggies.
Captain Crunch actually had a ship that he would go and he would fight the soggies, who were blue looking versions of those goopy guys. But I guess they made his cereal soggy and you had to kill them. You had to murder them.
Yeah, there you go. That's
oh, and he's taking the green goop off.
So that was a helmet, the part that was over his face.
Oh, he's using his spoon for
face
that.
Mask.
That is not hygienic.
I mean, he's just gonna stab the goop with it later. So what? Yeah,
but he's not eating Chex with that spoon anymore. Like the idea is they have stolen all the Chex and they're keeping in these crates. It's so much like the Ark of the Covenant in there, man.
Oh no, they got an upgraded gun.
So this is the type of like free thing I can really get behind. Like
it's what? So this was freeware, right? Is what it was called.
I believe so.
Back in the day.
Yeah, so you just played. I don't think there was like you paid for extended episodes of Chex Quest. I could be wrong, but I don't think anyone's that hardcore.
Maybe you had to send away box tops. So you had the second disc.
How many box tops? I never did. Did you ever send shipping and handling to a cereal?
I tried once.
Yeah.
I got like a stamp and I put them back. I sent like 10 box tops and it came back because it wasn't enough postage.
Mm-hmm.
And I was devastated and I was like, I can't afford more than one stamp.
Did you
I'm
send?
a kid.
Yeah, that's the whole point. When
I
you're a
literally
kid,
went with like 15 cents and bought one stamp and I was like,
it's something I always want to bring to mind because as an adult, you know, if you have a steady job, you probably have some level of disposable income that you can just blow on.
You can buy
video
4 stamps.
4 stamps. You can send out so many box tops. You could even buy a box of cereal on your own.
You're going too far.
Wow.
Sorry, but yeah, not to derail you, but yeah, so you're saying as an adult you can.
Well,
earlier than that.
Yeah. I mean, as an adult,
you can afford games now.
Yeah, you can afford. If you see a video game you want, you'd be like, "That is the video game I want. I will buy it." And the thing that still blows my mind is you can do that on times that aren't the holidays, that aren't your birthday. Like it still feels a little dirty to me when I'm like, I'm buying a video game in June. That's not a time that I would get video games. June is like a time you go to maybe Blockbuster. I get a $5 allowance every week, and I almost always spent it buying a video game at Blockbuster.
Buying or renting?
Renting. Buying later, because that was one of the ways you could do it, get it cheap. But something I think I mentioned on this before, but one of my favorite ways to get free stuff later on was to go dumpster diving behind the Blockbuster.
So they just throw away video games? And
they would throw out video games. They would throw out DVDs. They'd throw out VHS. Yeah, it was awesome. And this was specifically the Ivy Ridge, which is now a Dunkin'. No, it's next to the Dunkin'.
Oh, okay.
It's now like some type of heart surgeon. Who needs a heart surgeon when you got Blockbuster?
You can't dumpster dive there.
Yeah, I haven't yet. But I do have a couple Super Nintendo games in my collection, a couple N64 games that I dumpster dove there. Like you open it up and they were tossing it because they tried to sell it and then they had to make room out the window. None of them are good, but I got them. You know, back then, like a hunk of plastic, you felt just any cartridge was exciting. Yeah,
it was something you hadn't played before. Even if it would end up being an X-Men for NES, which was terrible, and you wish you had erased the memory of playing it from your mind.
There,
so bad.
there was another realm of free games that I think you probably can speak to. You had a lot of magazines.
Oh yeah, my video gaming magazines. Yes.
Yes. Well, they used to come with these things called demo discs. And they were CD-ROMs. This was kind of shortly after the dawn of CD-ROMs because they were cheap to produce, right? They could make them for like 17 cents each.
Yeah. That's a very specific number, bro.
For some reason, that's burned in my mind. They'd be like, oh, it's just 17 cents each. Something about the argument for why PlayStation was better than N64, you know. But of course, you know, the content on it doesn't cost them 17 cents. It's just once you make it and burning the CD costs 17 cents. But regardless, the demo discs would come with short demo versions of games that are coming out soon, have already been out. Like some of it was like a preview, which is really cool.
Like they would talk about the game in the magazine, especially the official PlayStation magazine is what it was called. And it would just be like, okay, yeah, we're talking about Final Fantasy VII. Here's a demo disc of the first act of Final Fantasy VII. And you would be very, really excited. You'd open it up. If you were me, just look at it because you don't have a PlayStation. Although you could put it into an audio CD player, and some of the demo discs had music tracks on.
Yeah.
Just like some of the PlayStation discs would play music tracks from the game because they were encoded onto the CD directly.
Yeah, because CD audio actually put the tracks on like it was an audio CD. So you just had to figure out which track it was.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I skipped to 7. You listen to the Final Fantasy 7, you know, battle music or something.
Yeah, and it was I remember I had one that had the Chrono Trigger, I think, demo on it, and you could watch like the cinematic.
Oh yeah.
Like one of the animated cinematics was on the disc, and I was just like, oh, this is great. I still couldn't play it. I didn't know anybody with the PlayStation that I could access it at the time.
Yeah.
Although when I lived in my old block where I grew up, my neighbor had a PlayStation, and we would play all the demo discs on his PlayStation. Like as soon as I got the magazine, I'll go to his house. We'd sit down and play like all the WWE, like WrestleMania, isometric games we would play. It was fun.
Yeah.
We did a little blast of all the games that we never bought because we didn't have any money to buy a game. Maybe if I stopped buying $5 magazines every month, I could have saved up over 6 months and bought a game.
Yeah. But then, yeah, you think about like 6 months. Though? Yeah. We traded
not even
those
6
magazines.
months. It'd be 12 months at that rate.
Games were expensive. Like they were more expensive then than they are now, which is saying something too. Because now,
I mean, they're going back up. So I think they're trying to get back to Super Nintendo prices.
Yeah. People kind of forget, like, even not adjusted for inflation, they were more expensive. Get that cartridge, $70. Ow. But those demo discs. So how much do you think you spent a lot of time on those?
A couple demo discs. That's all we played. Like we played the first level of the Die Hard beat 'em up arcade game so many times because you could play the demo. It was just the first stage, but you could play 2-player, and we played that stage for days.
Yeah,
worth of gaming time. It was great.
There was one I remember. I didn't subscribe to PC Gamer, but I bought one of the issues. It came with the demo disc, and PC Gamer was it was a thick magazine. Like it was like a half an inch thick. It came with this disc, and they put a lot of production values into the demo disc itself. Like they had a mascot character for the demo disc who was like a CG animated thing. In fact, Dylan, if you could look up PC Gamer demo disc, I don't know, let's say 1997, see what comes up. But they had the full motion video. Which,
oh wow!
Yeah,
and at the time, look at PC Gamer
look
demo
at that.
disc. I remember that Tomb Raider demo disc.
This is probably
like sleeve.
Oh yeah, this is it. Oh man, yeah, look at that. That was hi-fi at the time. It's like, oh my god, the logo turned into a city.
Turned into New York City.
Yeah, look at us. You think about like the dawn of CG. Like this was awesome, and this was free.
This is taking up like the whole disc.
Yeah. Yeah, and then it was a point and click to go through the contents of the demo. And there was an animation for that. They didn't need to animate that doorknob, but they did.
Dogs playing poker.
Yeah.
So you can too if you click the right dog.
The demo disc itself was sort of like a game, and that was
really awesome.
Really neat. I must have played this one for literally years. Like just going through, clicking around, trying the demos.
Do you remember what games were on the one that you had?
So the one I remember playing the most, what was that? I don't remember the name. It was a 3DO game that was out on the 3DO that they ported to PC, and that was the big deal. It was a Starship like fighter game. and I could draw it in my memory, but the name of it escapes me entirely. If we look up like 3DO,
is it like
space fighter game, and you're on a planet though?
It's like free space or star space.
It's like star something.
Is it?
It had a very generic
Star
name.
Commander, Space Commander, Wing Commander.
No, not Wing Commander. 3DO. And I think this is something that we'd want to look at on Google. If we just look up 3DO space fighting games.
Can't be, but so many of them. The 3DO was a short-lived system.
Yes, it was. So we should be able to find it. Not fighting games. Oh, we got to wait for. No. Star Control too. That might be it. Maybe.
I thought Star Control was like a 4X.
Yeah, that must not be it. Yeah, that's definitely not it. It was kind of more like a Star Fox sort of situation where you're flying around a planet.
I feel like I remembered seeing this, but I have less chance of you than figuring out the name.
Yeah. But it was cool. And I played that a lot. Just the idea of flying a spaceship around a planet, a barren planet. That was interesting enough for me back then. So I played that a bunch. Also just like looked at, they had videos, demos on there. Yeah, it was good. Don't do that. I mean, magazines don't exist anymore. These kind of went away also with the dawn of the internet. So at least with high-speed broadband, because this was still a big thing when the internet was out.
That brings me to my next topic. With the dawn of the internet, I'm trying to fact check myself before I say something really embarrassing on the podcast.
Oh, say it anyway.
I've never done that before. I feel like I remember when the Dreamcast came out, as of recording, it came out 25 years ago yesterday.
Yes.
Rest in peace, Sega Dreamcast. You're still my favorite console.
9/9/1999.
It will live forever in my heart.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure the Dreamcast, when they released a modem, there was a dial-up modem in this. I think it was, yeah. It initially had a broadband too. It came with a dial-up integrated in. Yeah. And I'm pretty sure you could download demos for games over the Sega, because on the Sega, what's it called on the Genesis? There was a Sega Net.
There was the Sega Channel.
Sega Channel, yeah. Sega Channel was also like a direct dial-up system where you connected a modem to your Genesis. You could definitely download demos on that. Because I did that once and played Comic Zone, and I loved playing Comic Zone. It was like the free trial came with Comic Zone.
Free trial,
yeah, like the demo, and I was like, this is great. But I'm pretty sure you could download demos on the Sega modem as well. Because I feel like I played the demo for either a couple games or downloaded through the modem, or I played a demo disc on Dreamcast. I cannot for like remember which one.
Yeah. So downloading is interesting because it didn't have a storage device aside from your VMU. Yeah. Now it's possible it stored something to the VMU that you could run from.
It was, if I remember correctly, it was like streaming.
Oh.
It was like, because that's what Sega Channel was. Sega Channel was streaming over telephone line.
That was so far ahead of its time. That's crazy. Did it work? I never used it.
It worked, but if you had a phone call, it ended your game.
Right.
Which kind of was the bad part, because unless you had multiple phone lines in your house, you weren't able to just like split off a line and hopefully nobody picks up the phone.
Yeah. But
yeah, it was streaming for Sega Channel. I'm pretty sure it's if they had demos on the Dreamcast, it was streamed. At least partly.
It's crazy. Over 56K modem. If you're lucky, 56K modem.
I would do some research to figure out how on base I am, but I'm not going to. It's more fun this way. If you know what I'm talking about and you can clarify anything, please write in the comments, and I would love to hear any clarifications.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm 100% right.
Yeah, Steve's 100% right. Hey, look who walked in. It's Terry.
Oh my goodness.
Walked in? You mean he teleported into
So what we're talking about?
We've been on the side angles the whole time, and now reveal.
Hey, hi! You're totally out of focus. No, I don't know. Good to see you. I haven't had you on the show in a while.
It's been a long time. Nice to see you again. Nice to see you again.
So we were talking about places we would play games for free before. When we were kids, we were teenagers without disposable income, without cars, access to anything.
Good point.
We just got done talking about demo discs, which used to come with things like magazines.
Oh.
I already talked about dumpster diving behind the Blockbuster.
Now, is like your cousin's house a part of this?
See, I think it can be, yeah. And that's the thing, like, maybe if you were lucky, you had a library of like 8 games at home, right?
Sure.
But you go to a friend's house, they had 8 different games. Maybe you had some overlap. Everyone had Mario, right?
Yep.
But yeah, going to someone else's house, absolutely. That's a great way to play.
So for me, my older cousin Kevin corrupted me in the best way with Nintendo, and it was always exciting, the car ride to his house, because he had more games than I did. There were games that I'd never experienced before, and to your point earlier about everyone had Mario, but everyone had Mario Duck Hunt. Yeah. Not everyone had the triple.
Yeah, I was just talking about that earlier, the track and field.
Right.
And if you did, you didn't always have the power pad.
Yeah.
Which is the best way to play.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, other people's houses.
Other people's houses. No, for sure. And that was one of the best parts of going over. Like, it seems very antisocial. Looking back on it now, it's like, I'm going to go over to my friend's house and play their video games.
Right.
Like, I guess we interacted with each other to some degree.
Well, there was a lot of 2-player. I mean, I'm not saying go over, sit in someone's house and play it.
I mean,
however, you know what? You just made me think of one. Did you guys ever rent a video game from a library?
I did once.
And it was free.
Yeah, it was included with your library membership.
No, that's a great way to do it. And now they have all kinds of things at the library.
What do you mean? Like DS games?
Yeah, they have console games that you can rent out, and they have DVDs and Blu-rays and things. You can just go to Roxborough Library and just be like, "Hey, I want a Blu-ray." Like, all right, that's what libraries do now.
I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah,
I remember when they started carrying comic books, and I swear one time there was a sleeve of Game Boy Advance games. Yeah, now that I'm thinking about it,
yeah, there definitely was.
That's awesome.
I don't know if it was in Philly. I know other places had it. I don't know if the Philly libraries
I don't remember ever
had it.
seeing that, but that sounds amazing. Yeah, and I would never leave the library if that was the case.
Yeah.
I mean, you could, because you could check it out with your library card. You take it home.
There wasn't a TV there that I was playing on. Or are we being specific? It has to be...
No specific
portable?
at all. Just like free video games.
Yeah. The library was free video games. I can think of one that was huge when Mario 64 came out. It was the first time I ever remember seeing these things pop up.
Was that different than a kiosk at a Blockbuster?
It was very similar, but it was where like you could demo play.
Like Toys R Us? Sort of thing? Yeah.
The Toys R Us Super Mario 64 era.
Yes.
Was insane. I've never seen as many crying children, and I was one of them in 1995. Was it 94?
94.
Would they have
probably
been demoing it in 94?
Yeah, I think so.
Mario 64, yeah.
Yeah. But and at the end, you know, Mario would cut you off and say, "Thank you so much for playing my game."
Yeah. Get at it.
Pretty much. And then it would restart, and then the kid would and just have a total meltdown. And it was the next kid's turn, but it was never the next kid's turn because that same kid just waited and then hit start again. But I do remember as a child being at the Toys R Us, playing this demo game.
Yeah.
And next to me had to be a guy in his late 20s who was being like, you come here too? And I was 10. It's like, yeah, this is how we get our gamer fix.
Well, I definitely did that. The Blockbuster on Ivy Ridge that I frequented, they had, a demo unit out. And I was like, I can play N64, and it was free. And unless someone else was behind me, nothing stopped me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only demo units I remember having access to were at the gallery and the GameStop in the basement. Had like 3, they had one for all the current consoles at the time.
Was it a GameStop then, or was it a Funko Land, or was it a Babbage's?
I think it was
Babbage's.
I think it was Electronics Boutique.
Yeah.
The one in the basement was eBay.
Yeah.
The one upstairs was Babbage's, and then they both became GameStops when GameStop bought all of them.
But they used to have those stations where you could play a little bit, and that was always exciting. Like if I had one of those that was walkable, like I would have been there all the time.
But yeah, sorry. Update on the Dreamcast network. We were talking about the Dreamcast game with the modem, and I thought I remembered you could stream games over it. You did stream games over the Genesis version, or streamed the Dreamcast version. They had Sega.net was in America. They had direct connections to the servers, so you could stream stuff. If you played an online game, it was direct connection over the IP. So there's no IP in between. Sega was your not IP,
but
internet provider.
But you weren't downloading a game.
You weren't downloading the games, on the Dreamcast. It did have demo discs.
Right.
Is that the first streaming?
So the Genesis,
Like demo streaming?
The Genesis, did
had
it,
the first
apparently.
streaming. Yeah, it
And
was
the
streaming
Sega
over phone
channel.
lines.
I was going to ask, was it via Sega Channel?
Yeah.
But then there was a PC version of the Sega thing called Heat.net that streamed games to PC, and that predated the Dreamcast by like a year.
Based on the blockbuster film Heat.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
Would you count being a little bitty boy, little bitty child, and going to an arcade, not putting quarters in, but still enjoying the screens that are up and like pulling the gun holsters and whatnot?
So
You're not actually playing, but you are in your head.
I mean,
the buttons fun.
Yeah, I would allow that, especially if it had like a robust like attract mode where it goes through the first stage and you're like, yeah, I'm playing. Although I'll one up you. Going to the arcade without any money, fishing quarters out of the coin returns.
Oh, yeah. Every coin return I would want to check, and maybe it worked 1 out of 200 times, but that 200th
when
time.
it worked, yeah.
Yes!
It was like
I have a quarter!
It was like playing Mana from the Gods.
Yeah.
I remember some guy loaded up. Had to be Mortal Kombat. I think he loaded up Mortal Kombat and he got frustrated and walked away with credits on the machine. And a bunch of vultures were just like,
to swarm it. Yeah.
But that man, in his frustration, gifted us a bunch of head-on-head because that's more credits in order to actually play the guy next to you.
Yeah.
And it turned into a little tournament.
That's awesome. Yeah, similar thing. Last time I was at Dave & Buster's with my kids, they were playing, wanted to play Dance Dance Revolution, which is a fairly expensive game to play in terms of credits, but somebody left like 20 credits in the thing.
Oh, wow.
And so we're just like, yeah, we're dancing. Oh, you want to do a song? I'll do a song. And like each credit let you do 3 songs. So we actually got sick of playing. It was all free. Great.
Free to, free to you or free to your family?
I mean, I'm willing to go to stretch this as much as you want.
So I'm going to stretch it because there was a place called Disney Quest.
There was.
Yeah.
And that cost my family money, but not me. And I don't say that as a spoiled person. I mean, if you don't know what Disney Quest is, it's a place where it's a place where all the credits were unlocked. You just hit a button to add credits. So you could play games.
Take you there in 2017, or was it gone?
There it is.
It was there.
Okay.
Okay, so what you're looking at right now, these are not the games. The games were outside of this. These were the rides, and these were the things that people came in to play these virtual games. But right there, you see the arcade cabinets.
Yes.
Those were all free.
Well, yeah, it was paid admittance to get in, and then everything
it definitely was there. I think the rides were down. I think they were closing down the rides, and just the arcade games were left.
They had, so this was in Orlando, in Disney World specifically. Yes. I love this place.
I see done, Dylan. Wow.
It was 5 levels of games.
And 5 levels of fun.
5 levels of fun.
Of interactive fun.
Yeah, so those, like, they're not just rides. Like, you were actually participating. You're controlling the craft. Now, they weren't as fun as a real video game, I would argue, but
I would argue that too.
It was a neat experience.
That one was fun. Magic Carpet Ride.
Yes. But what they did have, they had a retro corner, which is like one of my favorite retro arcades I've ever been to. They had, because it was the only place in the world I ever saw a working, the first video game ever made.
Space War?
Space War. They had a Space War cabinet.
Really?
Oh,
yes.
wow.
And I was like, I didn't know this was a thing that existed. And just to know that whoever curated that place put that in there.
So they found a UNIVAC, shrunk it down, and put it in Disney Quest.
But in that place were 2 cabinets I can think of. One, there was a Dragon's Lair, which is like a Laserdisc game.
From the competitor.
And but incredibly hard.
Yeah.
So that was the only place where you could play it and have free continues.
Yeah. So you actually see the whole story.
Exactly. They also had the Star Wars arcade joystick game.
Yeah,
that ends in, I think we're actually going to see it here. And it ends on a
Replay Zone. This is nostalgia hard for me right
too.
here. Replay Zone is where all the old games are.
That's you running up the stairs. No. But in that game, if you can get to the end, there's a lightsaber fight with Darth Vader.
Yeah.
The game's too hard to get there. So this was a great experience to finally get to the thing and then lose and then spend another hour trying to get back to it. But it was like a bonus stage.
Yeah, I mean,
absolutely.
So yeah, paid admittance. This certainly wasn't free.
No.
But it did feel like it once, and that was one of the most amazing things about this was that you paid once, and then everything was. I spent days and nights every time like we'd go to the theme park. We're at Disney World. Like, great! I can't wait to get home and go to Disney Quest afterwards. And
Exactly.
Was this at Disney Springs?
Me too.
Yeah, it was at Disney Springs. So I
How
think
did Disney Quest close with Wreck-It Ralph? That seems like a shoe-in.
well, Wreck-It Ralph's there.
I know, but I'm just thinking, when did it close?
I closed in like 2019.
Yeah.
19,
Not too long ago.
It
Great concept.
was great. And apparently it didn't do well enough to keep going, which was very upsetting.
Meanwhile, Cirque du Soleil is going forever over there.
Yeah. But yeah, and that's something that we're hoping to reproduce at the new Tubby is going to have a very similar system.
Really?
Pay to get in, everything is at your disposal.
Unlimited credits.
Limited credits until we close. Yeah.
You will need a security guard.
Oh yeah, we're already on top of that.
You
Don't
are
worry
on
about it.
game 57. You need to move and let other people play.
Well, even if that's the problem we have, like if kids are that into it that they don't want to leave, I call that a win.
Yeah, I do too.
Because
Because we were those kids.
look at that. It's, how was it?
Have a
Like 10
full
player
field of-
NASCAR?
Yeah, that's
So many.
if that's actually Daytona too, that's even better.
Yeah, there was a Daytona, like it was the
Like
max setup.
networked.
Hold
Yeah.
on. You got to sing the song.
Daytona.
Yeah.
I don't know the rest of it, but
No, just Daytona.
oh yeah, the Pac-Man versus. I remember playing that when we went.
Yeah, so these are all
This
the
is
old
my-
games.
This is the area.
This
Yeah.
is the area I was talking about. This is I could die in that place and probably be a happy man. So it's on both sides. It's all around a bumper car shooting thing, which is what you're looking at mostly with the the stars. But all of those are classic originals over on the side.
What is that?
I hope they walk in
is
that
that
direction.
a Galaga? What was there was a dragon.
Oh, there.
No,
Centipede,
Centipede,
maybe?
it-
Hopefully. That's what it
Look like
looks like.
Take a right. Don't go up the stairs yet. Yeah, you're going the right direction, buddy. Yeah, that's what we
Go
want.
back. Is that a centipede?
Turn left. Turn left.
Galaxian.
No, okay.
That's what it is.
It was
The dragon with the balls.
We split the difference.
And what was cool about this is you could see gaming history because not only did they have that newfangled Star Wars game, they had the original Star Wars sit-down cockpit cabinet here.
Wasn't it like a
Yeah.
vector game?
Yeah, it was a vector game.
Did it have a ball?
It
Was it ball
didn't. It was a
control?
joystick.
Joystick.
But it was awesome. People waiting in line so that they could shoot each other in the face with the balls. But I was on the periphery here, like, oh, I'm playing
too.
Space War.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I mean. Is that a Battletoads? No, that was Joust. No, but this is kind of what I mean in that these aren't really the attraction to anybody who's not already a gamer. The rides were the attraction.
Yes.
This was a bonus that you could take advantage of if you went to the theme park,
right,
to go on the rides with your family. I distinctly remember a British man yelling at his child who was trying to play these, and he goes, "We're not here to play any of these stupid games." Stupid games. And I would look at him and I'm like, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
What? This whole thing is
Yeah.
game. What are you talking about?
That's a miserable way to exist, too.
Yeah.
It's like, hey,
These stupid games.
he sounds like the way you're doing it. He sounds like one of the thugs from 101 Dalmatians, Jasper and Morris.
It pretty much was. It pretty much
You
was.
play devil's
You need to
advocate.
get back to Cruella.
It costs a lot of money to get to Florida from England. They're probably like, you could play this at home.
Not for free, kinda.
Kinda.
You know what it
you are-
is? It's not that it's free. It's that you got the gift of unlimited continues
Yeah.
in an arcade, which you guys are going to gift the world, which sounds awesome.
And we're going to do it in NTSC, the proper format. Forget that PAL BS. That's
Yeah.
the real reason they want these kids playing the games. You want to play the proper PAL version.
He's like,
That's right.
he's like 50 hertz or bust, child.
those are too many hertz for your eyes.
So yeah, so many fun. I could talk about Disney Quest for forever.
Me too. We should probably move on.
Yeah. But other free ways to play games. I guess moving on. The internet happened, and then you could download demos.
Yeah,
And not only
and demos.
Yeah. Oh yeah, demo. Yeah.
not only demos, but you could go to visit websites that had games built in, especially for marketing purposes.
Right.
And you could play these little Shockwave?
Shareware?
Yeah, Shockwave.
Yeah,
Was
Shockwave
Macromedia
Yeah,
technology
Macromedia Shockwave.
contemporaneous with Flash.
Dylan, try looking up Shockwave Mario.
Oh.
Shockwave Flash Mario.
Oh, that sounds janky.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's so we
Bingo.
talked about Chex Quest earlier.
Oh, wait.
What?
Mushroom.
Super Mushroom.
Press spacebar. That's the sign of a great
Yeah,
game.
there you go.
Press spacebar.
Oh, Super Mario Flash. That's the one.
Oh, they just put Flash in
Wow.
the name. But it's
Is this an official Flash version?
it's not
No,
official.
it's not official at all.
Okay, I didn't.
Move arrow, select space, open
That looks like
menu.
Mario 3 with Super Mario World graphics.
Yeah, well, this is stealing the Mario All Stars graphics. So this
Stealing
is
a lot.
stealing a lot. Yeah.
But yeah, you see how there's the little differences?
Yes.
And like,
No animation when you got the mushroom, just so much
Exactly.
bigger. Wow.
So this was illegal. But you could play this in a web browser.
Yep.
Which was kind of a new hotness
Mhm.
thanks to Flash and Shockwave. Macromedia single-handedly, making you play illegal games.
What happened to Macromedia? Were they
They
bought
were
by
bought
Adobe?
by Adobe. And they kind of just sucked up.
But yeah, okay. There was one that we played in high school. We were messing around. We should have been. I don't know what we should have been doing. We were in the computer lab and we were playing. It was on like there was a Marvel Avengers cartoon, like the real bad one from the 90s.
Yeah.
It came out and there was a Flash game. It was like a trivia game.
Yeah, it was like trivia. So
but
many
you could
trivias.
put your name in at the beginning.
And we put a dirty word in
You
the
put a dirty
beginning.
word in, and then at the end you have Captain America with the speech bubble say, "Good job, dirty word."
Yeah, which was we didn't see that coming, but it was amazing. It was Wonder Man,
Thank you.
which
Yes,
was
Wonder
even
Man.
Did you know that there was a Wonder Man?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
yeah,
pretty bad.
Oh God, I think I even know his name.
Simon Williams.
Simon Williams. That's right.
Wow, you both know Wonder Man's name.
He was a
Yeah.
Hollywood actor
Yep.
who also was made out of energy
Mm-hmm. Yep.
because
Many
comics.
such
And he had a
cases.
cool. Well, he was Wanda, Scarlet Witch. After Vision moved on to Wonder Man, and then eventually, I feel like Wonder Man's personality was put into a future Vision.
Yeah, it's a whole
So
thing.
she fell in love with that Vision.
She fell in love with his robot copy.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Dude, comics is crazy.
And he's like, what about me? But yeah, and it was great though, because it was like, good job, dirty word. And it had a print button. So we printed the page out.
Yeah.
We just had this page and like stuck it up in the computer.
That
lab.
was a place we played a lot of free games. Actually, was
Oh, like
our
out-
school library.
Yeah.
yeah.
And that was the first place we had exposure to a CD-ROM. Period.
Yeah,
and
there was one computer that had a CD disk drive that didn't need like some kind of key or something to open it or like a password. So we would sneak into, there was like in a little, the computer section, computer lab section. We would just distract the librarian and put in CD-ROMs of video games and play them.
Yeah.
But to your point, school was a place where you played games for free. Like if you
Yeah.
include numbered munchers and word munchers and all that stuff.
definitely.
Played Battle Chess, played Civilization 1, I guess, or SimCity. It was SimCity.
Mm-hmm.
I remember playing that in black and white on an Apple IIe. It was great.
Oh no, car game, McGee. We discussed.
Yeah. We discussed,
on the TI-82.
Yeah.
which was great. Yeah, and a lot of you'd put up with a lot of education just to play a game, even if it wasn't a great game. You're just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play this.
Damn right you would.
Yeah, I'm learning something. Learning that free games are fun.
So I'm wondering, I did as part of my CCD classes after school for church school, basically.
Yeah.
You went to a Catholic school for a time.
Yeah.
Did you ever play Captain Bible?
No, we didn't have any
Look it
computers.
up.
I don't remember having computers, so I don't think so. Captain Bible.
Captain Bible. It was yeah.
Was it like a side scroller?
That it?
Yes. The top one, yeah, that's it right there.
Wow.
Jump in there.
So it's another Doom clone.
No, it's not a Doom
it's not.
clone.
What the
Is it a
heck?
Prince of Persia clone? What is this?
So it's
point
kind
and
of
click.
a point and click.
Oh, okay, that's just the
you
intro.
went around.
Oh, look at the
yeah,
top
look-
right. Look at the top right. That save button.
Yeah.
The save disc.
But the whole thing was that you had to go around and read Bible verses, and then you'd be asked questions, and you had to answer them. And
You know what's
I
I've
don't
never
even-
played this. This is
Yeah,
amazing.
but one of the funniest things about the Bible games is a lot of the Bible games were illegal reskins
Yes.
of other games.
Yes.
That's a sin.
Yes. That is
Whoa.
theft, brother.
Yeah.
Well, look, I got to go back and play Captain Bible. This is a cool sci-fi game, actually. Look, he's got. Why is Captain Bible in a spaceship? Like this look.
Robert Goulet's head is huge.
Robert Goulet.
Which one's Captain Bible? The little guy?
The little guy, not the mustache
Thank you for coming,
man.
Captain Bible.
He's too young to be a captain.
They made a game called Captain Bible. So I'm wondering if people
It's an
paid for this.
anti-truth field.
Why don't we just take it by force? It's Captain Bible.
Because we've only been able to find a small hole in the frame.
How do I fit into this? Into the hole.
I don't like that it's about boys' holes.
Wow, his frown gets deeper and deeper every time he says something.
Oh.
The city's
Unibot.
Man, I did not remember all of this. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go back and play this. Like, this is something like,
You'll show it to your kids.
and this is that wonderful like phase.
Verse loaded. You load verses into little, oh, cool.
Yeah, cool. That's the word for it. Real cool.
You can get a verse here.
But I remember being very excited because at the end of the class session, if you're really good, you'll get to play Captain Bible some, and that was the carrot on the
Cyber
stick
lie.
for some reason.
No, I mean, it makes perfect sense. It's a good carrot.
Wait, they make you match up
It's a
the
good carrot.
They make you match up the Bible quote with.
Because again,
who
this
said
was
it?
in a
Yeah,
time
so
where
it's
we
like-
didn't have devices. So using
match it
any
with the
Oh,
device.
device.
yeah, I
at the
remember
top,
that
yeah.
one. Oh, I was like, oh, you felt so good when you got the flaming sword,
Flaming sword,
and you basically,
mustache it.
man, there was combat,
Oh wow,
and he fought the robots that looked like what
Cybermen.
kind of like Cybermen.
That's
A
Cybermen.
little bit like Daleks.
Whoa, Daleks. Yeah.
Daleks. A holy never. So you have to pick which verse speaks to the thing they're saying. Dude, all right, I'm going back. I'm definitely. This is my night tonight. is
That looks like
remembering.
he just zapped him.
Oh, he blew his brain open. Yeah, thou shalt not kill unless they're an alien.
Yeah. Whoa,
Cyber lie.
This is the best.
Yeah, you choose the right one.
Wait, so are the bad guys saying the words in red?
Oh,
and
you
then
got-
you
oh, it's a
apply-
click
and
to
you have
attack?
to disprove them. Oh, so that's a lie enhancement field. So
Oh,
you have to
wow.
disprove
Oh
them
my
using
God.
Bible
The arms
verse.
fell off and
Whoa.
it exploded.
It's a bloodbath.
Kind of a gory game for Captain Bible.
Match 2 on live.
All right. So
All right,
for
that's
some
a
reason, I got
church.
to play
There
this
you
game
go.
for free. Did not spend a cent on Captain Bible.
Yeah.
I wonder if anybody was paid a cent for Captain Bible.
Or was it like sponsored by like the church and they just subsidized it?
Now it makes me wonder which church too. Like,
Yeah.
there's no specific
looks very Mormon.
denomination. Yeah, maybe a little Mormon-y.
A little bloody for Mormons, don't you think?
It's basically got a Pokedex. Like, someone spent time on these graphics too.
Yeah,
like back in
for
the day, it
sure.
was like, man, that's like 256 colors, bro.
You look at that stained glass window. That's all the colors right there.
All of them.
That's pretty fantastic.
Yeah, so that was a free game I got to play. That's cool.
That is a good one. I mean, there's just your friend letting you play something. There's finding things.
Yeah, Chris loaned me a couple consoles that we play games that I didn't have, like Link's Awakening
Yeah.
and Chrono Trigger.
Oh.
Most formatively.
Yeah, and that's, I guess, borrowing games from your friends was huge. It's probably less of a thing now. Like, my kids don't trade games with their friends because their kids, the other kids
they're
don't
digital.
have games.
Can you
Yeah,
trade
they're
like
digital.
Roblox games with each other?
I mean, so what
Or
they
they
do,
make games and,
they'll
like,
load
for their
into an
friends to play?
instance of Roblox and someone can join you.
Oh,
So, yeah, there's definitely,
A way to
Like-
share. Yeah.
yeah.
I got something very 90s for you. You could win a game in an epic Pog battle.
That's the most 90s thing I've ever heard.
On your skateboard.
Yeah. Radical.
Wait, so did that happen to you?
Yeah, you would
Oh,
put
nice.
a Game Boy cartridge down and then battle over it.
Dude.
That was our poker chip.
Too rich for my
Yeah,
blood.
no,
That was
that's-
our poker. Well, you know,
Like-
it's Tetris. You're all playing for Tetrises.
Okay.
You know?
Like I was saying off camera earlier, small town criminality right here.
Yeah. Yeah, you're betting on Pogs, right?
Yeah.
I just play Pogs just for the heck of it.
Just,
Actually, I don't think we ever played Pogs. Were you supposed to slam the slammers against each other?
yeah.
Oh, I thought my people on my block were just doing that because they were jerks. And they would also do that with spinning
it's
tops.
called a
They would just
slammer.
crack the tops.
Yeah. I never played it right. Like I kind of read I learned it
I
nerdily
used them to
enough.
flip the pogs. I thought that's what you're supposed to
I
do.
learned how to play it from Nintendo Power because Nintendo Power came with some like, and they call them, they were milk caps. They were not licensed pogs. They're like, oh, Nintendo official milk caps. You can play the milk cap game and you slam it down in a circle and it's supposed to, I don't even remember. I never, like we tried and we were like, what are we doing?
Yeah, you're playing with like concrete. It's like, stop doing
I'll
anything.
go further. A friend of mine won Pokemon Yellow in a real life Pokemon trading card battle.
Oh, nice.
So they wagered a yellow. I think it was yellow versus a blue.
Dude, and when someone puts a cartridge on the table, someone go, whoa.
You start taking off watches.
Honestly, we should film that as a bit. But it was real. I remember watching it. You know, everyone had already played it, had already gone through. So it wasn't like you were destroying a childhood. But there were always the older kids, you know, like 7th graders trying to rip off 4th graders. That's a little much.
Yeah, and I remember.
But so illegal gambling in the schoolyard.
I mean, I know we've spoken about it before in the podcast, but it's a new episode, new chance to bring up the story. One time I won through a radio contest, copy of Turok, Dinosaur Hunter.
Ooh.
No, actually it was Turok 64. It's a sequel. For 64. The grand prize was winning a Nintendo 64. I did not win the grand prize.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a copy of Turok. I went and picked it up in Jenkintown, and I was like, yay, maybe I'll find an N64 to play this on at some point. So I remember giving it to Chris, and I was like, here you go. I think it was like, happy Christmas birthday. Here, have Turok. Did you ever play it?
Yeah. Oh, I played the heck out of it. Yeah.
Happy Christmas birthday.
It was an amazing gift. Anytime you get a cartridge, you get Plastic Man, that's the real gift.
I don't remember. Did it come with the expansion pack or did it just require one? Because that was the other thing.
Turok 2 required the expansion pack.
Okay.
And I don't remember if it came with it. I had it.
I think it came with it. I remember looking at the box and like, I have everything to play
Donkey
it.
Kong.
It came with Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
as
but I think it
well.
also came with.
I think it might have come with
Turok
Turok
a couple
2.
games, I think.
That would be weird.
I remember being like, I have everything but an N64 to play this with. I just if I only had N64, I can put in the expansion pack and the cartridge.
Well, it seems like a whole thing. It was the expansion pack was 4 megabits.
Yeah.
4 megabits. So like
Wait, not megabytes?
bits.
Wow.
Which is 1/8 of a byte.
Wow.
So we're talking about like
yeah, they just
nothing.
literally couldn't fit the info on one cartridge because they needed like the header on the cartridge. So then they're like, here's enough space.
It's literally 4 million
rest of it.
zeros or ones. That's
Wow.
what 4 megabit is, and that's not
There's
a
enough
lot.
to make a difference, I guess. Make the game playable.
But that was great. And I had a less savory time when an acquaintance at school was like, "Hey, I don't want to do this writing assignment. You do it for me. I'll give you." I got this copy. He had Mortal Kombat trilogy on this Super Nintendo. I didn't have any Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
I was like, "Sure."
Wait, Mortal Kombat trilogy for N64 or Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 for Super Nintendo?
You're right. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 for Super Nintendo. Yeah, thank you for clarifying.
You're welcome.
But yeah, that one I never had one, but I played that a bunch because it was free. I was never a big Mortal Kombat fan, to be clear, but
It was a free game, yeah.
all I had to do was help someone cheat. It
You're
was
not even cheating. You're doing work. They're
Right.
cheating.
I was
Yeah,
just
it's fine.
doing some more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever?
Did
They
ever-
traded cheat?
Yeah, I got
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah, and so I still have the cartridge.
Oh no.
I've never given up a cartridge.
Chex Man.
Yeah, that's
we
the
talked
first thing
about
we
Chex
talked
Quest
about.
earlier,
You
yeah,
talked about
Chex
okay,
Quest.
getting
Getting
it
them
in cereal.
box. Did you ever mail away box tops or like send away a postcard to get a free thing?
No, that was my question. Was that ever something where you could mail away?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a thing, but we've never done it successfully because they would usually be like, "Oh, you need like 20 box tops, and you have to send $8
Yeah,
in
you
shipping
need
and
correct
handling."
postage. Yeah, because I was telling the story. I sent like a bunch of box tops to Jamaica, Queens, New York, with one stamp. And you needed like 5 stamps. So I came back, returned to sender, and I was heartbroken.
Oh.
I was like 8, so I
As a
didn't have enough money.
stamp.
I didn't have
Probably-
money to buy more
It
stamps.
only took 6 weeks to get back to
I
you.
literally found pennies to buy the stamp, like on the street. I just scrounging pennies, and then I was like, yeah, it came back after it was over.
Did you send shipping and handling in like cash, or was there no?
I don't
cash
think I
involved?
had to.
Yeah.
I just sent a self-addressed stamp envelope. I didn't know what that was either, so I put my address on an envelope inside with no postage. So probably wouldn't have came back anyway, but I
Yeah.
tried.
There's another way to play a game for free, and it's just to steal it from an actual other human, not
That's
the company on the internet,
Yeah,
but
but
literally
physically
just
steal
to
it.
steal it.
I will
from
say
someone.
I've never done
Someone's
that myself.
Still playing my
but-
Game Boy Color.
Yeah, mine too.
Your Game Boy Colors got jacked.
My purple
remember-
Game
yeah.
Boy Color got jacked.
Mine was at the arcade. It was such a betrayal of trust because we're just all playing the game. My bag is right against my foot, but apparently I was playing too heated of a game of Marvel vs. Street Fighter. I look up, my bag is gone. I find it outside in the trash can. Everything's in it still, thankfully, but my Game Boy Color with Wario Land 3 in it.
My Game Boy Color, I think, with Pokemon Blue, got jacked.
Oh,
So I still had Super Mario Brothers DX.
Oh, okay.
Which
So
is
they
a
didn't
great
take
game, but I couldn't play it on
cartridges.
anything.
You didn't
It's
have
a
any more
color game.
Color.
Yeah. So you never got a replacement color at any point in your life?
No, we had moved on. Like we were right around the corner from
The
Game Boy Advance,
No.
and I had that Game Boy Advance before the SP.
Yeah.
Remember that one?
Yeah, the
Oh,
one.
yeah.
Oh,
I
the-
have it at home.
Was it
That was hard to
translucent or matte?
I think it was gray translucent.
Those are the best ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not matte. It was not matte. I remember a Kirby one came out when a Kirby game came out, and it was pink, and I was like, "That's the coolest thing ever."
But yeah, stealing games is definitely a way you can get them for free. I'm glad I've
We
never
were
stolen,
victims.
never stole from a human being. I might have partaken in stealing a couple ones and zeros here and there off the internet. And that Wares
Sound like
was
the
a whole
Wolf of
thing.
Wall Street.
Well, it's funny because like there was a period where like, okay, we got broadband. I went to college, and it's the first time you get like broadband. You're like, oh
yeah.
man, I got a computer and broadband. Let's see what's up.
Yeah.
Sure.
I say that's another source of free games. Going to college, especially in like around the year 2000, you join the college network,
Oh yeah,
and there's just all sorts of games
That's
on there.
right.
Who knows how they got there?
Dude, people were bad
That's
at networking
right.
back then, and you were all in the same network neighborhood if you were plugging into Windows, and you could just look into people's hard drives.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember my.
But also there was always like a community peer-to-peer sharing
yeah,
platform.
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah. I remember taking all the CPS2 ROMs and getting a
Capcom arcade ROMs.
emulator and just playing all the Capcom arcade games on my computer.
Yeah.
That was glorious.
They were great.
While we're talking that wasn't illegal, but also you could burn your
Ish.
own game eventually onto a CDR.
Yes.
The yellow CDRs. You could put Dreamcast games on.
And I did.
Yeah. Oh, it's hard to say no. I mean, especially like you've coveted these things for so long, and then suddenly like they're right there.
Yeah.
The technology's there.
I don't even have to mod this system. I just put a normal CD-ROM on my Dreamcast, and it's like, hey, here you go.
Yeah.
So for a long time I didn't pay for PC games. That was just a thing you didn't do. Emulators.
We've both made up for it in groves since
I
then.
will
Yes.
say I had a rebirth of Nintendo and Super Nintendo thanks to emulation. Way later. You know,
Yeah.
we were on like GameCube and stuff, and I would always find myself sitting on the computer playing the classic Nintendo games.
Well, yeah, the games you
Because
always
save
wanted to play.
states.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to say because there's games you've always wanted to play and never got a chance to.
Well,
and you're
that-
like, oh no, because I could cheat.
That too, but the F2, F4 of
Yeah.
it all
Yeah.
is a very nerdy thing to say, but you guys picked it up
I mean,
immediately.
That muscle memory was dangerous.
Yep.
I don't know how many times I've saved over bad things I meant to reload, and I'm like, oh, wait, no.
The classic scummer salute. Save scumming. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, is that obscene? Oh well. If it is, Dylan will
That's
blur
hand
it
10.
out.
That's fine. He'll blur it out. Yeah, that's what he'll do.
Just the whole thing. Just the wide shot is blurred.
Everything but my hand is blurred out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Reverse blur.
yeah, and
Draw attention to it.
I guess we grew up, and it kind of coincided with it becoming less of a romantic thing to get these games, to get them for free, and now like a free game is just like, now games it feels like they fight for our attention, and maybe that's just because we can afford to pay them now, but at the same time, it feels like it's more time than money. Like, what game is worth my time now?
Exactly.
Yeah, and the world we live in is a luxury for gamers, whereas back before it wasn't built for gamers yet. Now I'd argue it is built for gamers.
In a lot of ways, yeah. File sizes are so small compared
Yeah.
to the speed of the internet. Like, you can grab everything ever put on the NES in like 30 seconds.
Yep.
You're like, all right,
And
now
we
what
do.
to play. Yeah. But there's something, I don't know. It's interesting. Like, part of it's grown up. The magic's gone a little bit, right? I
Yeah.
don't think it's all that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's also the investment of time, and there's certain games that I remember the first time I fired up Batman Arkham City or Arkham Asylum. I have no idea where those 3 days went. I was just plugged in, and I had a job at the time, and I would go, but it was all I cared about. So I know, I'm dating myself a little bit, but that'll happen every once in a while. I think everyone can identify when they played Breath of the Wild. That was one of those, oh shit, I'm infected. Yeah. Like I'm stuck. I have to do this now. This is all I do now.
Just 7 years ago.
Yeah. So
many
but it was
years.
probably 5 years before that where I got sucked into something, and then 5 years before that when I got sucked into something.
So
they show up.
It takes a special game now.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess so.
And none of those games for you have been free, I'm assuming, at this point. Like,
that's true. It's been a while since
because I'm wondering, like, it seems it's antithetical. Free-to-play games nowadays are made to take all of your time, whereas games you pay for sometimes are designed to do that, but often they're such a finite experience that you want, or they have a finite experience that you, as an adult with disposable income, you're like, oh, I will buy this experience and enjoy it. Whereas a free game is like, oh, I tried it for 5 minutes, I'm done now.
Well, yeah, and I think that speaks, going to get philosophical here about the human condition, right? Mm-hmm. But the scarcity, this makes it more special.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I have infinite more games I could ever play at my fingertips right now, and they don't hit the same way. But when it's like, you got your 5 cartridges, and like, you get an experience, like, I would sit and play Captain Bible for hours. I'm not going to do that now. I'll play it for maybe 10 minutes. And
yeah,
be like,
check it out and be like, it was not
a little thing.
Yeah.
But back then, like, it would consume you. And it's too easily. Humans don't care for things that are too easy. There's got to be some difficulty involved, or else you don't cherish it.
Mm-hmm.
Like Chris said at the beginning, at the top of the show, when we were kids, you would get a system with one. It came with the game. You got one game. Your birthday or Christmas comes around, you might get another game. You might get lucky and somebody takes you to a video store or a library where you get a third game temporarily. Free games were worth their weight in diamonds at that point.
Yeah.
Where now it's like, it's basically everywhere.
Well, you can also play an amazing game.
You can make sorry, go ahead.
But you could play an amazing full-length game for like $5 now.
Yeah, they're
on
cheaper.
some of the cheap ones, and they're beautiful, wonderful games. I mean,
they're finally crafted. The devs put a lot of work into it. They put a lot of heart and soul into it.
Yeah, there's one where you're a bug, and it's like a Metroidvania, but you're
Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight you could get for less than $10, and it's expansive and huge as a game. So we have that option too now.
Yes.
Is that it's not, you don't just, there's more than AAA now too. And a lot of those indie games are cheap and wonderful and well thought out and have depth. I just thought of another way to play a free game.
Oh, okay. One more.
You can play games within other games that are hidden. For example, Donkey Kong 64 has Joust in it.
Joust
and you can go to the arcade in Donkey Kong 64.
Jetpack, I believe.
I think it's
because it was a rare game. I believe it's Jetpack.
Maybe you're right. Donkey Kong 64 Jetpack. But that is a way. There's another, I can't remember the name of it. It's a Sega game where you can go to the arcade. They're like, yep, there you go.
Well, no,
so if you get the Rareware coins, you can play Mr. Eggplant. That's a great logo. So yeah, you could go to Cranky's and he would let you play classic games.
Oh, nice.
There's another way that you can play free games. It's games within games.
Yeah, so like more recently there was Like a Dragon series. Which is by Sega, the formerly Yakuza series. The most recent one I was playing, you can go to an arcade and play Spike Out. You can play Daytona, and you can play another Sega arcade game within the game.
Shenmue, is that a game?
Shenmue's a game. It
is a game where you could by Sega,
and you could play, go to the arcade, and you could play video games in Shenmue.
Yeah, and those are actually the series Like a Dragon and Yakuza is by the Shenmue creator, who also made Spike Out and Daytona, which is why you play those games in those games.
They also have that in Animal Crossing. In Animal Crossing, I believe it was
you play Game & Watch stuff or something.
No, you could play NES games. I believe it was on the GameCube version.
Can we see that?
Yeah, Animal Crossing NES games
on Animal Crossing. But yes, there you go.
Yep. You know, arguably, it's pay to play. You paid for a game, but it's another game inside. It feels like a freebie.
You didn't pay to play that game.
Mario 3 and Metroid? Judging by that thumbnail, unless it was clickbait, seemed like a good selection.
Here's a game I never got into.
Yeah, I never did either. But
Donkey Kong, Excite Bike.
I know it kept a lot of people alive during the pandemic.
Yeah, people retreated into this world.
Oh, that's awesome.
There you go.
Yeah, you're playing it.
And you didn't expect it.
You had to
No.
buy them from Tom Nook. What does he not monetize? The bastard.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to play Fleet, and there's more than ever.
Ice
More than
Climber,
ever.
Super Mario Brothers,
The
Legends.
Forbidden Four.
It's less special now. How do we?
What do you mean?
Well,
Why is it less special?
it's less special because everything's free. Like when it comes to gaming, there's so many AAA free-to-play games that you can
True.
just dive into. You can
Oh, you're talking like a Fortnite or like something like
Yeah,
that,
like
where
a
like
f- yeah.
it is free.
Yes, it is straight up free, and there's games like that. Overwatch 2, Team Fortress 2, Destiny. It's Destiny 2. You still have to pay for, right?
It's technically free to start.
Okay.
They're
Yeah.
real scummy with it.
Yeah,
You can play 2 things unless you pay money.
yeah, but you can get good games
Mm.
for nothing.
Yeah. You get great games for nothing.
Yes, and I think it's about putting yourself in the right state of mind that you want to dedicate some time to this, because you'll get more out of it if you dedicate, like, hey, this is going to be my evening. This is going to be my evening every night for a week, maybe. Get something fun out of that game. It's hard. We're sport for choice, right? You can jump from game to game to game to game, and you kind of feel like you're chasing your tail.
Yeah, the change for me has been, there used to be a game of the week, and now it's a game of the
Moment.
quarter.
Quarter.
No, I mean, in my ideal world, I'll play games for like 30 minutes to an hour every day, but there's 100-hour games out there.
Yeah,
It's going to take me 3 months.
it's going to take you 3
It's going
months.
to take me 3 months, which is why I played Tears of the Kingdom for a year and a half.
Yeah.
But I finished it, damn
You
it.
got your money's worth out of it. That's for sure.
did.
Oh, certainly did. And when that price is nothing, you definitely got your money's worth. Yeah.
Oh, another source of free games. Mobile gaming.
Yeah.
But we don't have time for that. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, good
This has
night,
been Tubby
everyone.
Talk.
No, I think that's actually really funny.
Yeah.
Good night, everyone. Thank you so much. You've been Steve. I've been Chris.
You've been Chris. Terry's been here the entire
He
time.
never
have.
left.
And I also am addicted to this game, which is free, and it's called Block Blast
Oh,
by Hungry Studios.
sounds very innovative.
It's a Tetris clone. But listen, it is fun and addictive and free, and it's been my last 2 days, and I've loved every minute
They
of
call
it.
it Block Blast, but it's not an Arkanoid clone? Bad naming.
Yep. Well,
I came late.
thank you all so much for watching. Go play something that's not Block Blast, and we'll see you next time.
And comment. Tell us what you played.
YUNKJunk!